Welcome back, true believers, to another Spider-Man PS4 related video, and today I'm going to be talking about a topic that I've wanted to be talking about for a while, and that is the combat and how I believe it will work in the game of Spider-Man PS4. So, two things. One, this is gameplay from Blitzwinger's channel. He did a Let's Play of Spider-Man Web of Shadows, and that's why if you see totally cringe-worthy attempts of him trying to do repeated web strikes over and over and over and over and over again, and him totally failing at it, that's his channel. You can dislike him, not me. I have to brag here, but I kick ass at Spider-Man Web of Shadows. I'm actually very good at it. I love this game. I perfected the web strike. I never failed it once, because that's just how hardcore Spider-Man fans like you, and I'm assuming all of you guys who are watching, play these games without failing and being totally awesome at it. So, this is his gameplay. I cringe at it every time I watch it. I'm already doing it now. But, that, and also I'll be breaking down the past Spider-Man games and how their gameplay worked, and how I believe Insomniac will be able to implement some parts of these gameplays, of these separate games' combat styles and forms, and how they could use it in the new game. But, also quoting Insomniac, they have stated that they are using brand new, never-before-seen mechanics in a Spider-Man game. And that includes a totally revamped, 100% original combat system for Spider-Man, which means it's not going to be like the Arkham games, it's not going to be like Web of Shadows, it's going to be 100% brand new just for this Spider-Man from Insomniac Games. And again, I've said this before and over again, Insomniac Games is an incredibly talented and unique and creative team of developers for games. That is why I have total faith that this combat system will be incredible, and I dare say, probably better than the Arkham games. Because how in the world does Batman have spider sense in the Arkham games? Very confusing. But here we go, breaking down the past Spider-Man games and how I think Insomniac could maybe take aspects of these games and put them in their new combat system. Not use them, but just take little aspects of them. So with the Neversoft games, we had a nice, easy little system of punch, kick, and web, and that was in Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro, and it was for early PS1 days, so nothing really too hard to get around that, and really very easy to do, and it was simple for its time, and it worked, and it was awesome. Then we had the Spider-Man 1 movie tie-in game from Sam Raimi's trilogy, and that just did the same thing. We had punch and kick and web. Same exact thing from the Neversoft games, just on a PS2, and I guess perfected, because he did more acrobatic moves like handstands and kicks and over-the-head punches and stuff. Then Spider-Man 2 came along, and that is the original Batman Arkham combat. That is what inspired the Arkham Batman's combat, with punching and the counter button of the spider sense being implemented to be a counter move to attack bad guys on the side and from behind and from overhead and hang them from lampposts, which was beautiful. If they take anything from the past Spider-Man games, you better believe that they better take the part where we can hang thugs upside down from street lampposts. We need that back in this game, if they take anything from it. So, and they also had web-based attacks with rodeoing criminals in circles. You could do it up to 4 criminals. I loved it. And then the Ultimate Spider-Man game came along, and then they went back to formula where they did the punch, kick, and web method. But since it was a weaker Spider-Man, once you knocked down the enemies, you had to web them on the ground so they couldn't get back up, which was a nice, cool feature that they added to the game to add a bit of realism with this younger and less brutal and stronger Spider-Man, and it made sense, and I loved it. Then we had this amazing game of Web of Shadows, which invented the Web Strike, which is my favorite acrobatic / combat move / system of a game in combat I've ever seen. It mixes acrobatics with traversal, with combat, with stylistic moves, with dealing super amounts of damage, with switching from red to black suit, offering total amounts of variations, with acrobatics, with symbiotic tendrils, with power, with speed, with agility, with strength, and all these different combinations of on the ground, in the air, on the walls. Everything about this game's combat system is what makes this game amazing, and that is why it's my favorite Spider-Man game of all time, purely because of the combat system, and also the swinging kicked ass, and the story, but I'm getting sidetracked right now. That was Web of Shadows combat, which is amazing. Then Shattered Dimensions, where we had 4 different versions of combat with web-based attacks for Spider-Man in the Amazing World, speed-based attacks for Spider-Man in 2099, stealth-based attacks / bare-knuckle brawler style fighting for Noir, and symbiotic tendril / power mode for Ultimate Spider-Man. And I loved it because it each gave their Spider-Man a hint of variations and uniqueness for their dimensions. And then they kept that same system for Edge of Time, just with a little bit of different animations, and again, it was punch and heavy attacks and web shots. And again, carried over from the Neversoft system, but just on a better console and more in different animations with better budget. And then we had the Amazing Spider-Man games, which I don't really have to break that down too much because it's just a bad copy of the Arkham games. Sorry, I like those games, but they clearly ripped off the Arkham games' combat. I like the Amazing Spider-Man 1's combat more than the Amazing Spider-Man 2. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was very slow and had repetitive combinations and variations of animations to take down thugs, and then the Amazing Spider-Man 1 was actually pretty fast and quick and enjoyable, but then it kind of got old after a while, whereas at least Batman had variations. Spider-Man, you just punch a guy and then web him to the ground, and that was it. I liked it a lot, but it's not as good as the Batman Arkham combat, which leads me to how I think they could do this in Spider-Man PS4, and what combat systems I would want them to take aspects from, or little tiny bits to implement in the game. Which is why I think a good hybrid mix of Spider-Man 2, Web of Shadows, and Shattered Dimensions will be a perfect version of combat for Spider-Man. You can keep the realism / normal moves of keeping within the laws of physics from Spider-Man 2. You can have the agility and acrobatic style of Spider-Man from Web of Shadows, and then you can have the intense kind of, more agile and intensely fast and, acrobatic variations of the different Spider-Men from Shattered Dimensions while implementing it all into one Spider-Man. Since he's very experienced, he knows how to fight crime in New York City, and he knows how to do it with style. So thank you so much for watching, True Believers. Tune in next time for more Spider-Man PS4 related videos. I hope you enjoyed this one. Peace out.